All right, guys, what's up? Today, we're going to go over the top 5 pre-spawn bass fishing lures for 2025. So let's talk about it. These are some of the cases that I use where I carry my baits, everything I will need, and some of the stuff I'm going to show. But I want to get started with a soft lure. This is a scat style bait, kind of like the Depths cover scat, but it's made by a SIG. It's their Shizumi Mushi. This is such a clean, versatile bait. I cannot talk more about it. It's got the scat style shape, but it also has these little appendages that just create micro vibrations as it falls in the water. So I have this back rigged so that when I toss it, it'll slide backwards into whatever cover I want to send it or whatever situation I want to use it. In pre-spawn situation, you just want some heft to it. I've attached a little nail weight back here so that it can sink and stay on the bottom. That way you can bottom bounce it. Yeah. And if you're a bed fisherman, what you can do is cast it beyond the bed and then accurately bring it through the bed. And because of the weight and all of kind of the weight being in the back end, it'll kind of sit and you can just kind of drag it and it can sit longer in that bed and elicit a strike. For my situation, I have a dam area that I fish. And so having this bait, it's good for the top of the dam where I can easily just sink it 10, 15 feet and touch bottom. And because of this nail weight being slightly exposed, it makes it easy to get feedback. The nail weight is long enough that it's touching the shank slightly. And so I can get feedback through my line and feel the bottom contact without any issues. So this is a good start for whoever wants just a soft lure approach. Issei just rocks out. If everybody wants the traditional scat lure, then obviously Depths cover scat is what you want to go with, but this is a perfect alternative. And you can always just take off the phalanges and it'll look literally just like a scat bait. In my opinion, with the ribbing and everything, it's got a better shape to it. The other soft kind of lure category is kind of a hybrid. Obviously, everybody knows chatterbaits. They have been around for quite a bit of time. They just flat out work. This is Jackal's superfine brake blade. It is in their 3/16 ounce with the D-Style Virola HG in this shad pattern. I really like JDM's shad pattern when it comes to coloring. It's very versatile. It's very easy to be kind of like pretty much any bait fish out there. It's got a white belly, a green pumpkin top. This skirt has a white belly to match, a middle green kind of stripe that you're going to see going across, and a little bit, just a couple strands of pink at the top. And I just feel like this is a well-rounded coloring. It's got 3 different types of colors, but they all blend really well. I like to take the weed guard off. That's just my preference. And so you guys can keep them on. For me, it's got enough where it actually has guards on the bottom, and that's just to roll over cover. And that's just so it doesn't roll over and then get stuck on a log. It actually keeps it stable as the logs or as the guards are V-shaped. And so it keeps it stable and prevents it from rolling as it comes across. It's got a very small blade, perfect, quickly initiates action, very tight. You can slow roll it, you can fast retrieve it, and it just flat out works. Another alternative that you can do is a little bit of an older blade, but this is Jackal's Dara brake blade. It's a little bit older. This one's actually custom hand tied by Brian Schmidt. So it does look a little different, but the original gold color made sense. He just added a little bit of bear hair to it and reduced the skirt a little bit. And so it just created a better presentation for me. The blade, as you can see, and I'll try to compare it. The blade, as you can see, is just a little bit smaller. And so it makes action super, super tight. I mean, you start winding and it just kicks. You can 100% feel this. It's great. It's got, again, the bottom V's. I don't know if you could see it, but it's got bottom V weed guards, and it just prevents it from rolling. So great little bait. So on this, a simple stick bait, you can use the Doe Live stick, or anything that's just smaller, and then cut the paddle tail off. So super easy. All right. So now to move on to our next category. So we went through soft baits, chatter baits, and now we go on to vibration baits. So with this, it is just absolutely killing it for me. This is the TN38 by Jackal. It is just such a diverse bait. Great color choices. This is the Gill Pond coloring, and I did do an alteration. I switched out the bottom treble for a Ryugi dual hook. I just like how it tucks in when I am making it bottom bounce. And so it actually reduces the amount of snag material that I get off the bottom. I still kept the treble though. I did try with both dual hooks, and it just wasn't as good of a presentation for me that I thought it was going to be. And I didn't have good hookups. And with fish twisting, they actually broke the dual hook, because the dual hook just snaps on to the body of the bait. You don't need a split ring, so you could still keep a dual hook, maybe use more robust hooks, but I just prefer to use the treble on the back and then the dual hook on the bottom that tucks in. And I mean, it's just a really, really good bait. No issues here, great coloring, great shape. But if you don't have the TN38 or you want to try other baits, you can always use the Issei Zari. This is the micro. It's a 40 size. It's got quite a unique shape. It tapers quite extremely towards the back, with the eyelet towards the front. It literally looks like a craw. It's a really cool shape, really cool colorings. They don't have like just your standard gill or your standard green pumpkin color. So the colors are unique, but they're still going to work. I like the shape. I like this coloring. This was as close to what matched my area for what illicit strikes. So there's like red, which I know is going to be hot pretty soon in southern areas and near Michigan soon. But if you just want a traditional color that kind of works in a lot of situations, you can go with this color. Again, it's the 40 size. You can go up in sizes and that it's going to work fine. But the theme kind of for these pre-spawn situations is the micro or tiny baits, especially with BFS fishing. I just prefer it and it works in my waters. If you want to upsize and have a different presentation, this is literally one of my favorite baits. This is the TN50 by Jackal. It just creates a cool sound and it just works. I mean, it's just unique, especially when it comes to pre-spawn. So works great. I've used it before. This is actually a color that when you find it online, kind of looks wild, but it just works. It's got this white pearlescent front with a little bit of gleam, and then this orange belly, pink on the front, and then this gray top. And it's just really good. It's just a versatile color. It just flat out works. So yeah, if you guys want to try it out, a little tungsten front makes it land on the bottom. Again, I'll probably flip out these front hooks. So yeah, this, I would say it's more for winter fishing, but if you guys are out there in the cold and want a silent and very, very, very tight vibration, there's blade baits. I haven't had any luck with them so far, but these Raid Vibe Boosts, they're very good, and they just flat out catch fish if the timing is right. So if this is what your fish are biting on, great presentation. They come in a variety of different weights, from 5 grams to, I think it does a little bit lower, to higher. I mean, you can get 7, 9, and even higher grammages. So whatever kind of needs to fit in your waters, Raid's got your back on that one. So make sure to check them out. Really good, well-made blade bait. It's got ABS plastic covering this like tungsten weight on the bottom, and just the coloring is amazing on this gill. It's got a pearlescent white belly, blue see-through transparent with a little bit of brown, and then some gill stripes. So check them out. Now, the next category is going to be cranks, specifically micro cranks. Again, the waters that I'm fishing, I'm going a little bit deeper, so I do want a little bit of an extra lip. Fish haven't moved into shallow areas yet for me, so I do have to target them on a deeper situation. So definitely worth checking out. This is the Issei Kanahira shad, 48 size. Great color. There's tons of different colors out there you can get. I mean, you're going to hear me mention Issei quite a bit. They just make baits that flat out catch fish. This is a suspend, so medium depth, so that 5 to 8 foot sweet spot. But the suspend is key. If you don't want to use a traditional like jerk bait, then a suspending crank will work just fine. If you want to get a sinking one, the Raid level crank is amazing as well. I just don't have one out of the package right now. Going into micro cranks, now we're getting into trout cranks that I use alternatively, not only for trout, but also for bass. I've found over the recent years that trout cranks or area trout cranks work amazing on smallies. These, I haven't removed the hooks. I might eventually, as I'll show you in another model what I've done. But this is a deep diving, and so you're going to want to make sure that you have the depth, because these will get down there. I mean, JDM trout technology is freaking amazing. It's just so cool to watch. And these are like super tiny. They're like 2.5 grams, and they just work. It's such a cool coloring. Pearlescent, a little bit of brown, see-through clear, and then a blue top, deep diving lip. And then my all-time favorite, I cannot talk more about this bait, even if I wanted to. The Timon by Jackal, flat Pawnee. This is in a cherry bonbon color. It gets, if you have the right line, it can get down to 4 or 5 feet. Just a smallie destroyer. I mean, if you can get your hands on these, like, just hoard them. These little cranks are amazing, and they're so durable. The lip is actually part of the crank, increasing durability. The sound is amazing coming out of these. The hooks I have had zero issues with. I have switched to treble on other models or on other flat Pawnee colors, but I mean, most of the time I just take them out of the package and just work them like they are. No issues here. Cherry bonbon color, just kills smallies. It's this translucent pink with a brown top that also has some pink and brown, and then very, very, very light touch of brown on the bottom. Smallie destroyer. Like, you got to try it. And then this custom handmade lure. This is what I'm talking about. These are size 16 trebles. And this color I asked for pre-spawn specifically. It's got a deeper orange on the top and bottom, and then this kind of yellow wood on the middle. So keeping it that orange color or that craw color that everybody talks about. These get down, depending on line, obviously, about 5 feet, 3 to 5. So a little bit of noise, not too intense. Great circuit board, and then all handmade wood. So definitely a trier. And then last but not least, shad or jerkbait style lures. This is the OSP high cut. This is in a green shad pattern. Just flat out destroys. Works really well. Suspends, because again, you want to get it in there, let it float to elicit a strike. So definitely a keeper. Easy to work with. Dives deep enough for my waters. Usually I am cutting bottom or touching bottom, so have no issues here. Yeah. OSP just makes really good colors. I love their colors. OSP has one of, I feel like, the better color choices that just makes sense for waters. And this is just a killer color. Again, for smaller presentations, this is the Megabass Great Hunting Flatside 50F. Floating, again, if you wanted it to suspend, you could just put a little weight right here, a sticky weight. It won't take away at all. If you want to just kind of run it through and let it float up, it will do a good job that way too. So no issues here with this bait. Again, just flat out works. Great hunting series I absolutely love. I don't use Megabass baits as often as maybe I should, but this bait I do. I keep it in my little box at all times. Smallies love this color. They've bent out the hooks before, probably my fault with the drag control, but I've just switched them out. No issues here. I did keep this one floating, but I bought another one and I just plan to make it suspend. And that's going to be a trial and error situation, but it's definitely got the room to let you experiment. So great hunting, no issues here. Flat side 50F. Back on the floating baits, this is a handmade jerk bait by Take Handmade Japan. 100% Japanese cypress wood, 100% custom color that I chose. I love the purple, the wood middle, and then the white bottom. Again, it's floating. I just prefer floating out of the box so that then I can custom the sink rate. I'm going to create this into a suspension type of jerk bait. I do love that it creates a different presentation. This makes it so that it is very bulbous on the front and middle, and then it just tapers nicely. So with this bait, I mean, I have multiple baits from Take Handmade Japan, and this is not an exception. He just makes baits that work, that fish want. Colorways are always amazing, and no complaints here. I have cranks from him, jerk baits, swim baits. Check them out if you have a chance. And if you have a chance to snag one of his baits up, 100% do it. As an honorable mention, I don't want you guys to forget about spinner baits, specifically sticking on the micro side. This is a Lucky Craft micro spinner bait, a little bit of a feather. This has like a pearlescent cover to it with a gold blade. This pearlescent color way is super sick. A little bit of a red eye that I feel like fish gravitate towards more, but blue, orange, and then a pearlescent color to just kind of make it shine and reflect. Again, I am sticking on the micro side of things, just because it makes more sense for my water and for the early presentation. The only time I size up is if I'm actually bed fishing. Like with this bait, this is the 2.2. Normally or traditionally, I would fish the 1.8 right now if I wanted to present it differently. But if I'm bed fishing, definitely going to upsize a little bit so that I can have a little bit more of an intimidating presentation, heavier bait, and just it elicits a reaction a lot more strongly than a smaller bait coming through. But back to the spinnerbait, definitely worth a try. Honorable mention, don't forget about them. Slow rolling them through the water. This creates a very, very tight vibration, and it's just my preference. There's other great BFS spinnerbaits out there worth a try. There's bigger spinnerbaits worth a try right now that you can get a strike in. I shore fish mostly, so I like to just keep things accessible. So definitely worth a try. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.